Hey everybody, I'm back! And if you don't remember who I am, you're gonna feel embarrassed, right? Because about 10, 11 years ago, I used to do YouTube videos and I was a huge nobody. Nobody knew me. It was okay. So if you don't know me, you probably never did. Yeah, it's been a while. But I am St. Basil Fish. I usually go by Basil or Basil Fish, whatever you feel like calling me. And I used to do video logs back in the day. 10, 11 years ago, I used to do videos on a channel that was kind of dedicated to tobacco pipes and cigar reviews. And I rolled with that community until that community got kind of weird and people were like backbiting each other and everyone was trying to be the prom queen. And I'm like, I don't have time for that business, so I moved on. Decided YouTube wasn't my thing until a couple years later when I was doing paranormal investigations and I'm like, whoa, let me share this stuff. And I started to meet a lot of people in this paranormal investigation world of YouTube. And it was cool for about 10 minutes when I realized they were also a small community, also doing a lot of back and forth with each other. Story for a different time, but yes, everyone wanted to be the prom queen and I'm like, I'm done. So later on, I made this channel where I start sharing my poetry because I've been writing poetry since I was a kid. And I had some folks that went ahead and encouraged me to record some of my poetry and start sharing it. And I did. We fast forward a little bit more. My wife and someone who used to make YouTube videos at the same time I did introduced me to Teresa is Dead and Alex is Bored. Teresa is in fact not dead, but Alex is probably bored. And let me go ahead and tell you right now that I started watching mainly Teresa's videos because my wife is into that whole beauty community, learning about the various makeups and such. Teresa is Dead is the only one who's pretty much, well, one of very few that are really giving you an honest review of the various products. Unlike all these like upstart major names in the beauty community who like get PR packages sent to them and they're just like, oh, this is so great, it's so beautiful, la, 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 la. You know, all this bullshit because they're being paid to say all this wonderful crap. Teresa shoots you straight and she shares some of the best stories. So Teresa and Alex started doing live streams and me and my wife would kind of talk with them on their live streams. And then I started talking to them on Instagram. And in that interaction of total weirdness, I remembered that making YouTube videos can be a lot of fun if you do it for yourself and you're not worried about doing it for someone else and start putting limitations of what does this person want to watch or not want to watch. So here I am. And you're with me. Actually, you're not with me because I'm recording in my vehicle and you're not even aware of my existence yet. And when I'm with you, then I won't really be with you because I won't be here because I'll be existing elsewhere. And then, holy crap, if I don't exist, whether I'm here or there, sorry about that technical difficulty there. I'm back and I'm calm. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and put Teresa is Dead and Alex is Bored. I'm going to link them into the comments below or to the side or above me or wherever the hell you kids are putting your links these days so you can check them out. So that after you watch this story I'm about to share with you, you can either say, hey, you know, good job getting him to make videos again, or you can just blame him and say, oh my God, you unleashed this guy on the internet? He should have stayed away. Now, before I jump in, let me tell you, I bought a camera. A nice little video camera to do these videos logs with, and I got a microphone. But you may notice that I'm doing this in my car on a phone. Why? Because when I brought out my camera and I started it up, the battery died on me because maybe I should have charged it. Who knew? And I was going to do this video sitting outside where you don't hear my 3 screaming kids. I was going to enjoy a cigar. But then it started to snow, sleet, rain. I was like, damn. And then today has just been one miserable thing after another. And I almost didn't make this video. But then I thought to myself, you know what, self? You're not going to let the weather stop you. You're not going to let some stupid dead battery stop you. You're certainly not going to stop you. Make that video. And what honestly I should have done, what I honestly should have done was stop. And really consider, is this a sign from the universe? Is this a divine notice from God saying, stop, you weirdo, don't put shit on the internet? I've never been good at knowing when to stop, so here we are. So I'm going to start with my story. You see, about 10, 11 years ago, I was making YouTube videos reviewing hand-rolled cigars, fancy tobacco pipes, and it was a great time. I was, again, 10, 11 years younger. I was a lot lighter than I am now. Not nearly as hot as I am now. Don't get me wrong, this is gorgeous. But I was still pretty hot. And an older, much older gentleman would leave comments on my channel, very encouraging. And then he slid into my DMs and was like, hey, I would love to send you a care package. I know you're new to the whole, smoking cigars, and I've got some cigars that I'd love for you to try. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Because I'm a man on a budget, a wife, and at the time 2 kids, and wasn't making what I was making now. So cigars were expensive. It was not those were a treat. And I was like, okay, cool. So I give him my home address because at that time there wasn't the whole, hey, set up a P.O. box. A lot of weirdos out there. There were a lot of weirdos out there. I just was naive. And that naivety is going to come into play. So I send him my home address. A couple weeks later, I get a package. It's this little white package. Well, not really little. It was a long package. Had a little weight to it. I open it up with excitement. On camera. Because I know who it's from. And there are cigars that in length range from 6 inches to like 12 inches. And they have a girth. And I use the term girth because it is the appropriate term in this particular instance. Of anywhere from 1 inch to 1.5 inches, these cigars were huge. Ladies, that's what she said. And I'm like picking these cigars up. Thank you so much. This is amazing. I can't wait to smoke these cigars, etc., etc., etc. So I make a series of videos smoking the cigars, thanking him profusely for sending these cigars to me. These cigars took like 2+ hours to smoke down. It wasn't until about 4 to 6 months later, someone else slides into my DMs and is like, hey, we got to tell you something about that dude who sent you a couple packages now. I'm like, sure, what's up? He's sending those same packages to other young guys. Here's a link to his channel. I go and watch. And what I learned was this gentleman was part of a subsect of the pipe and cigar community. See, he was more about like giant cigars, giant pipes, and wore a lot of leather and not much else. And it turned out there was a bunch of these guys that were with him. And so as us young, naive guys were getting these packages and smoking these cigars with such gratitude, he and his buddies were in a basement, dungeon, dark closet somewhere, getting off on our videos. Worst part is, I have no idea what he might have or might not have done to those cigars before they got to me. So when I read this and I go and I see this, the first thought that comes to my mind is, oh my God, ew! What you gonna do? So that was enough for me then. And yeah, Dick Cigars. I learned an important lesson. First of all, be careful who you're giving your contact information to. Second, someone sends you a package of giant cigars, baby forearm cigars. You might want to do your research before you just cut that shit open and start smoking. So, anyhow, I tell this story for one big reason. I want to set the bar for this channel very, very low, because now I have nowhere else to go but up. Maybe. I might drop down a bit. I want to share stories and poetry and art and weirdness and thoughts and ramblings, and I can ramble like a boss on this channel. And if you're down for that, cool, welcome aboard. Hit that subscribe. Looking forward to our interaction. If you watch this all the way through, you got to this point, and you're like, oh my God, what has been unleashed on the internet? First of all, if you jump ship, I don't blame you. Second of all, make sure to go see Teresa is Dead, Alex is Bored, links wherever they're going, and say, what did you unleash? Anyhow, so I'm looking forward to having more story times, tell you some blatant lies, some unbelievable truths, and leave you wondering, is that for real? It might be, it might not be. That's the fun of this. I'm putting these out here for me. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So, I look forward to seeing you next time. This is St. Basil Fish saying goodbye for now. See you in a week or so.